Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another camera related video. Today I'm going to be doing my long-term review on the Voigtländer 40mm f1.2 Nokton. This is a fantastic lens. I've had it for about 3 months. I did my initial review when I got it earlier this year, but it was winter time. I didn't get out and take as many photos as I would have liked to have just because it was so darn cold outside. But over the last 3 months, it's gotten progressively warmer and I've gotten out a lot more with this lens, got to know it a lot better. So here's what I have learned. The first thing that you need to know about this lens is that it is a true RF mount lens. This isn't just some cheap Chinese manual focus lens that you buy that's a pain to use. This is licensed by Voigtländer, by Cosina, who's the manufacturer, through Canon with complete permission, complete legal licensing. So it has electronic contacts that can communicate with the camera. Now that opens up a lot of creative possibilities and it makes the lens a lot easier to use. And it also means you're going to get the EXIF data transmitted through the lens onto the file so that when you're looking at it in your image editor, you can see your camera settings. But I'll talk more about the beauty of those electronic contacts in a moment. The other big reason you're going to want to use this lens is because it genuinely gives you a very unique look and rendering with exceptional image quality. This is a fantastic lens. Now, if you're looking for clinically sharp, that kind of really sharp look that you get from most modern Canon RF lenses, that's not this. This lens is designed to give a bit of a softer look, just a touch, very reminiscent to what you see with Leica. As a matter of fact, Voigtländer historically, they got their start making lenses for the Leica M mount. They were considered the poor man's Leica lens. They made lenses for the Leica M mount that had exceptional image quality, but you didn't have to pay the Leica tax for it. And they've started porting those lenses in recent years over to other mounts. This particular lens came over back in, I believe, 2016, 2017, around that time frame, first to the Sony E mount and then progressively to other mounts until a couple of years ago, they finally released it for the Canon RF mount. But again, a lot of photographers right now are chasing that Leica look. They're trying to get photographs that don't have that clinical sharpness, that have more character to them. That's what you get with this lens. And don't think that image quality suffers just because it has maybe a more vintage rendering. It doesn't. The images that this produces are fantastic. I'm going to be showing some examples of those images, but you're also going to find more of those samples on my written photo review that can be found on Through My Lens. I'll put a link in the description box to that article, and I strongly recommend you take a look at it because it's going to go into a lot more technical detail and have a lot more sample images than what I'm showing here in the video. Now, in my mind, the other reason why you're really going to want to pick this lens up is because of the size and weight. I don't know if you can tell just from what I'm showing you here, just how small this lens really is. I've got the all-metal lens hood that's on it. If I screw that off, you can really get a sense just for how tiny this lens is. It really packs quite a punch. This is my Canon EF 35mm f1.2. I've got the adapter on it right now, but you can see that this lens is, the Voigtländer is about half the size and half the weight of this EF 35mm f1.2. This is probably, in my opinion, the best 35mm lens that's available for the Canon RF platform, which is why I have it. But again, all I'm losing when I use this lens is the autofocus. I think the image quality is very much on par, very, very close with that 35mm, but it does render differently. I'm not saying one is better than the other one or either of them is more correct. They just render differently. This definitely has a unique look to it. So again, because of that size and weight, I think it's going to be a phenomenal travel lens. I can't imagine I will not have this in my bag anytime I travel. And it's just a great walk-around lens too, because it doesn't punish you the way some of the larger RF lenses that do have autofocus capability, but with that autofocus ability does come additional size and weight. The other fantastic thing about this lens is that it's f1.2 and it's f1.2 for under $1,000. The retail price on this lens is only $749. That's pretty fantastic for what you're getting with this lens. All metal construction, the quality is just amazing. Right now, Canon only makes a handful of f1.2 lenses. Of course, the 50mm f1.2, the 85mm f1.2. I have that lens. I have the defocus smoothing version of that lens. It's enormous. It's the largest, heaviest lens I think that I have in my bag that's not a zoom lens. And recently Canon came out with the RF 45mm f1.2. I plan to get that lens in the next 30 days and do a comparison because there are a lot of similarities between these lenses. But my point being, for the size, weight, and the price, there's not a lot of competition out there for this lens on the Canon RF platform. So I really do think that this is such a fantastic must-have lens for anybody, no matter what kind of photography that you do, because I've used this literally in everything from photographing people to cars to landscapes. It's a very, very versatile lens. I never used a 40mm focal length before, but I'm really starting to be a fan, I have to say. Another great reason to pick this lens up is the experience manually focusing this lens. And it's a great experience for a couple of reasons. One, again, this is a luxuriously high quality lens. Again, manufactured by Cosina in Japan. It says lens made in Japan right on it. Not a cheap piece of Chinese junk here. This is a truly high quality lens. The manual focus wheel is just so smooth and so precise. It works so very well. Really, really do like it. Same thing with the aperture wheel. Very precise clicks. Firm, stays in place. It never drifts. Just fantastic. The knurling, it's just a piece of art. I really can't say enough about the great experience that you get with manual focusing this lens. But part of that experience, again, comes from the great manual focusing assist tools that Canon builds into all their cameras. A lot of camera reviewers out there are critical for Canon on a number of things, but they seem to all agree that Canon does the best job of any of the manufacturer when it comes to providing manual focusing assist tools. Not only do you get the traditional, what I'll call pink paint that will, in your LCD or in your viewfinder, kind of paint the area that's in focus, kind of a pink or a blue. You can usually select the color in the menu, but it will paint that area so that you know where the current focus is. So if I was focusing here on my face, that would be pink. If I was focusing on the background behind me, that would be in pink. That's useful, but what's even more useful is Canon's other manual assist tool, which you can put a box anywhere that you want to focus, and then there are two arrows that you kind of line up so that they're pointing to one another. And when you have those areas lined up, the area in the box is in focus. You can't miss. It's like, I call it manual focusing light. It's so much easier than just pure manual focusing, because without these tools, normally what you have to do is you have to take your best guess, and then you kind of punch in with the viewfinder or the LCD to see if you're really in focus or not. But you don't really have to punch in like that with with these Canon manual focusing tools. Again, such a great experience. I absolutely love using this lens, and I really don't, I've never wished it was an automatic autofocus lens. A lot of times when I bring it with me, I do tend to shoot with two bodies, and I'll put this on one of the camera bodies that I shoot with, and then I'll put an autofocus lens on the other one. But I end up shooting probably 80% with this lens, and manual focusing with it is so good. So many Canon fans whine and complain about the fact that you can't get third-party lenses. And there are a number of Voigtländer lenses out there right now. One of the best lens manufacturers out there, and they make several different really awesome prime lenses for the Canon RF platform. I have another one of their lenses, the 50mm f1.2 Nokton, which I've previously reviewed both on Through My Lens and here on the Through My Lens YouTube channel. And both of them I'm just super impressed with, and I probably will be comparing them in the not too distant future. But, if you're complaining about not having any third-party lenses for your Canon camera, you really do need to take a look at Voigtländer, because they are exceptionally good lenses, particularly when you look at the price that you pay for them. Again, I think this is probably going to be about the best lens you can buy for the Canon RF platform that's under $1,000 when you take a look at the image quality, when you take a look at all of the factors. Yeah, it's not autofocus, but where I am, in my photography, I'm using autofocus less and less. The only other contender again for that crown might be that Canon RF 45mm f1.2, and I'm going to get that sometime in the next 30 days and really do a standalone review of that lens, as well as compare it very closely to this lens, because they're on paper there's a lot of similar, pretty close. I think those two lenses really would be top of mind in a lot of people's shopping lists. Look for that in the near future. But there you have it. There's my thoughts on the Voigtländer 40mm f1.2 Nokton. Fantastic lens. You should probably pick one up. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care. God bless. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.